It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. What's up, everyone? It is Tuesday here in America. I don't know, wherever you are. That's where I am today. So welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. I'm your host, Rusty Diamond, and I want to say check out the other podcasts here on the network, such as When the Gloves Come Off, the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is It with Lizzie and Saved by the Ben. Check out our videos. There's a lot of them up on the YouTube channel or Rumble channel, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find these shows. So again, that's because our sponsors, such as Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Stoner Eats Productions, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock'emUp.org. So thank you, everybody, for being here. If you guys want, you can call in. I'll play stuff on the air, whether it's you want to, talk shit to me, if you want to tell me how much you love the show, things you want to say about the show, or if you just want to talk about whatever, maybe you want to give a shout out to your company, go for it. You can play it. You can say it. I'll play it. Probably. You can leave a message, 503-974-6420. Maybe you don't like leaving messages and you're like, hey, I don't like leaving messages.
Messages? Messages? We don't leave no stinking messages.
But I need messages, so leave them for me. And you guys, thank you for being here. Again, numbers are growing, audience is growing. I need more interaction with you guys, though. You guys are listening, but you're not wanting to interact very much. That's okay if you don't, but I'd like it if you would, because the show's for you. Let me know what you guys want to hear, who you guys want me to bring back. Because I'm bringing someone back right now. I had on, I want to say 3 months ago, because that's my rule for the most part, is 3 months, and then you can come on again. And this is someone who's been on before. So I'm going to bring on my special guest right here, right now. We have Gloria Hass. How are you doing, Gloria?
Pretty good, Rusty. How are you?
Good. Not too shabby today. I've just working on a few things here. Dealing with some mail stuff. MAIL, shipping things. But it's all part of the game. It's all part of the buying and selling stuff that I thought I would get out of, but I decided I can't get away from it. But I don't want to buy a store ever again. That's something I never think I want to do ever again. I'm not going to say ever, but I don't think I want to own some sort of commercial property or rent a commercial property ever again. I don't think there's much need for it as much anymore.
No, and your insurance and the rent is a lot of overhead.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's money you have to make every month that's just kind of going away. And I mean, sometimes it's just so, because I have a store or I have an office, just to kind of say that I have a store or office. But in reality, I'm having to work extra hard just to make ends meet and then be able to turn a profit, whereas I can work from home, not have to pay that, and I don't have to go into some place that I think that every time I walk in the door, like, I have to pay for this every time I'm walking in here. But what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I sold it, but that was a nice day. That was a happy day for me. That was like, I think, about a year ago, just about, that I sold it. Once I found out that I was leaving where I was living last, I was very fast to say, all right, let's sell this place, just get rid of it all. And that was a great feeling. And Yeah. So I mean, you're able to do your work from wherever, correct?
Yeah, I do it from home. I
And
have a little area that I call my office.
and then you get to write that off on your taxes as well, since you're using that as an office space. Um, so I mean, yeah, may as well have it at home. And uh, so if you have someone that lives near you, do you ever do any meetings in person, or um, is it all digital?
It's all digital because of COVID, and also it's with my schedule as packed as it is. It's just
Yeah.
easier to schedule a time online than it is for me for, for driving and coming back and the whole thing. I'm gone for like 3 hours. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
this way
Yeah.
I can stay at home and I'm only, I'm only busy for actually an hour. And then I can take some downtime, like 15-20 minutes, take a breather. And I don't have to hit the ground running as if I were outside the office and have to check my emails, check my calls, schedule when I'm going to return them.
Right. And so what do you like to do during your downtime of 15 minutes or so?
Sometimes I take a power nap.
Excellent. Hey, can you get a power nap going and like does it take you very long to get into power nap to like fall asleep?
Not if I'm that tired. And other times I just relax and I do meditation. And
How's that coming back after a power nap or meditation as opposed to, I guess, as opposed to not having either one of those? I mean, how much of a difference can you see?
I see a pretty good difference. I'm calm, I'm relaxed. And sometimes it's like, I'd rather watch a movie.
Yeah. And you have that choice too. You have that choice to watch a
Mhm.
movie if you feel like it, and you don't have to, you can just hold off for a little bit and schedule your calls for a little later. And yeah, it's pretty nice being able to do that and being able to have that flexibility. And yeah, plus not having to drive anywhere is a huge bonus. I mean, my car barely moves anymore. I don't know why my insurance still costs as much as it does, but yeah, I don't drive too often. I just kind of hang out at home. It's pretty nice. And um, so okay, so in your background here, if you guys are listening, and maybe not, or if you're watching, you can see this in the background. So, uh, first annual healing conference. So, where is it virtual? Is this there? This is virtual too, right?
It's virtual on
Okay,
Zoom.
good.
It's free. And
Oh, okay.
don't worry, I'm not going to have any sales pitches and hard sales. This is a healing conference. I'm having 4 speakers. One will, Shahara Fernando will be talking about angel alchemy and what she does. And there will be demonstrations on all 4 sessions. And it'll start at 9 a.m. and in the morning, California time, and end at 12:30 in the afternoon. And then I will be having William Elder come on and explain agape cards and demonstrate what that's about. And Libby Goldark will be coming in from Australia, and she will be speaking about kinesiology for anxiety. And I get to be a guinea pig on that one.
Oh, okay. That's and through Zoom
It's
doing
all it's all
doing
through Zoom. Yep.
okay. And you get to
And
be the guinea pig, so she's able to do it through Zoom.
yes,
The
she says that we're going to demonstrate on how that is done. So that will be interesting. And I will be the last speaker, and I'll be doing a group healing from, head to toe healing. And I'm excited about that. There's space for 80 more people.
and so are you putting this on?
Yes, I am. I'm putting it on. And people will need to email me to be able to register and to receive the Zoom link, because I'm not just going to throw it out there to people who might want to come in and spam their business and stuff like that. But I have the chat to where everything comes to me directly. So I don't want to have
Okay.
to be policing, the activity while I need to be helping with the presentation and things like that. And so that's why I do it. I'm doing it this way. And also, I can't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, you're talking about the people you have booked, and then you're talking about the Zoom and how you are worried about people coming in, or you only have a certain amount of spots left.
Right. And the deadline to register, that's what I was remembering, is
Okay.
September 20th. So I'm going to
Okay.
be cutting off registration, or it could even be October 1st, with it being the 14th, because I will be emailing the link out to people on the Monday before the conference, because conference is on a Saturday, and then a reminder an hour beforehand, the initial 9 a.m. session.
And then, so, I mean, the good thing about that is, people can come from all over the world, like you were saying, with you had the speaker from Australia, and whatever, I don't know what time Australia is. It's always
It'll be like
some,
3 or 4 in the morning her time, and also Shahara's coming from.
uh-oh. I think we lost you for a second. So, okay, I lost that last part. So someone's coming from where?
Sri Lanka, Shahara Fernando, and they're
Wow.
12 and a half hours ahead of the Pacific time. So she used to be the one who's talking about angel alchemy.
And so, yeah, so I mean that you got people, yeah, all times of the day. So is that why you chose the 9 a.m. start time for that, or is that just when you wanted to start it?
That's when I want to start it. That's when I'm at my best.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, 9 o'clock is usually kind of where I feel like I'm at my best too. Most creative and everything always kind of see me like right around 9 o'clock. And I wish I could do this show earlier. I wish I could do the show at 9 o'clock, but it's hard being on the East Coast and trying to get people on the West Coast at 6 o'clock in the morning. To 7 o'clock is, early enough for people on the West Coast, but that was about as far as I could stretch it for that. I mean, otherwise maybe I'd have it at, maybe 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, but then I can't really have people from the West Coast coming on and doing middle unless they're up at 3 in the morning. And um, it's nice that we can have all these different people from all over the world. The time zones, it's a problem I like having. I like having that problem that I have to worry about time zones, but at the same time, with that worry, I could have people from all over the world come and not have to, I don't got to pay for, if I'm having some sort of show, I don't have to pay for booking, um, like for booking travel or lodging or anything of that sort. And that's a huge relief, not having to worry about that. And like you're saying, they don't have to spend, someone from Sri Lanka or Australia having to spend probably a full day traveling each way, and then when they can just turn on the computer and then go, and they're ready. And so I mean that's pretty neat to be able to do that. And so what what are you trying to accomplish with this? If Because I mean, like you were saying, you're not going and trying to sell people on anything. what is the desired outcome for this conference?
For people to hopefully take control of their own healing, their own health, living better and healthier lives. And that's my ultimate goal. And that's why I also want to do a free, I do the free group healing from head to toe. I do that once a month. And I also have free healing sessions for people who want to sign up on Calendly and through my calendar. And I don't charge for any of it. If people want to give a donation, that's fine, but I don't. I have it in the little blurb on my calendar that if you'd like to give a donation, but right after the session, I'm not going to say anything to them, except that if you need a future healing, please schedule, at least 1 to 2 weeks in advance as my calendar allows, because I don't want somebody coming in and taking all 3 healing spots in one day. That's not really beneficial for them or for me, because I've already addressed the issue and it's going to take time. But I would like to see people live better, healthier, productive lives. And that's the bottom line.
And so how much do you think that people's wanting to heal themselves or not wanting to heal themselves is going to affect their lives? If they like, how do you get someone to get to a point where they want to heal themselves and understand that it's on them and it's like no external force is going to, that the external force is not the cause of what's going on and making their life difficult, and it's something that they need to be able to address on their own? Is that something that comes up when you're doing healing?
Well, I recently did a video on the nature of healing and sent it to a couple of my healing clients, and one step down, because it comes to the point where if people, they don't want to be healed in the long run, and there's some people who only want the short term feeling better so they can go back and abuse their body again. I don't want them as a client, because it's a waste of my time and it takes up a slot where somebody is really serious about having a better quality life. And
Right.
I've also had the one client also said, I noticed that they are making some changes in their life right now, and just say, just pray for me. I don't want to go back to healing sessions. And I heard that they weren't going to be healed because of their current lifestyle. And another client was getting to the point where they wanted to abuse their body more. And I was the vessel for helping them heal from cancer. And they were going out and not eating the right foods. And I said, I can't do a weekly session anymore, because it kept getting later at night that they wanted me to give a healing, 8 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, because I get up anywhere from 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning. 8 o'clock, I only have reserved for one client right now, but I'd rather not go past the 7 o'clock hour, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
And
me too.
yeah, because by that point, I am just trying not to fall asleep.
Yeah,
So
that's not fair for the clients.
right. And I'm not going to be everything that I can be. And there's I do remote healing with a couple of clients where I'm not physically present, but we have a select time of where I can do their healing while they're resting. So I prefer to work with people who are really serious about healing. And I've even asked one former client, what are you going to do when? And stated circumstances happening in their life. And they said, throw myself more into work. and because they don't want to deal with their issues. And I suggested, I said, well, have you thought about seeking professional help? And they said, well, I can, but it's up to the person if they want to deal with their past emotional issues, which do have a bearing on their physical health because they bury memories in their tissues, their organs. And the one woman who I helped with the healing of cancer, she was taking traumatic childhood experiences and burying them in her pancreas.
Right. And I mean, that is very common and not very talked about. Especially with our culture, because then that's also someone who is going to become more of a customer to the pharmaceutical industry and or other mental health kind of industry, to just without really being able to get to those moments, those underlying issues that really need to be addressed. And just, I mean, they're going to come back eventually. And if for some reason they don't come back, like you're saying, it's killing them on the inside with their whatever organs or their tissues, or even their subconscious thought. It's in there. And I mean, I've seen before. I mean, like, I got into doing that for myself. There was stuff that I did, I held down and didn't want to address. And yeah, I mean, it came back, and I felt, pretty bad. And it was nice to be able to work through that. And I try to tell people that from my experience, and hopefully people can learn from it, that just how important it is to, and maybe it's stuff that you don't even know is there. And that's kind of a hard part too, to kind of preemptively work on something that you don't know is there. And yeah, so
I've been able to help a few clients with that because with the healing, I'm able to pick up a word or feel a sensation in a certain part of their body. And like the one client, I had mentioned a certain word and she hadn't even thought about it. And it involved a childhood trauma of what her parents did to her. And while they still haven't dealt with it, it was, this is what's going on inside. So they can either choose to work in that area or not work in that area. I mean, I was a victim of sexual abuse when I was a toddler. And I hadn't even spoken about it. And I remember I was in my early 20s and I was in therapy, or I was in my 30s, somewhere around there, 20s to 30s. And I had a therapist tell me that if you don't deal with this now, you are going to end up with cancer, and told me which body part I was going, because of where I was mentally affected. And it took years for me to deal with that. And I'm in my 60s now, and there's still some parts of it that I'm still dealing with. And it's not as big and looming as it used to be, but I can at least bring forgiveness in with, the people involved who were involved, and just be able to continually let it go.
So you were saying that you say your doctor told you where the cancer was going to be?
Right.
Where did they say it was going to be?
My breast.
And how does that correlate with that trauma, that it goes and attacks the breast tissue?
I was a teenager when that happened because of what my father did to me when he would come into my bedroom at night when my mom was working.
And so, but so what, I guess what I'm wondering is more like, so is it different events that happen with the trauma determine where the cancer will show up later in life if not dealt with? Is it different for different things?
Yes, it is, because there are people like me who start hating their body. Why was it that my father and his mother were attracted to me? What is there about my body? And if I didn't have this in my physical appearance, then that wouldn't have happened. So what people start doing is burying their bad memories, the negative impacts in certain areas. So if you have your breasts cut off, no one's going to look at you, is the thought process. Or if I go ahead and cut up my face because someone told me I was beautiful, then I will be ugly and people won't look at me. It's like this one woman in town who I've seen. I would love to speak with her. She's extremely fearful, but she has she's tattooed her entire face. It's beautiful to look like a leopard.
Okay. And
And
so was it for that reason that,
I don't know. I would love to speak with her, but she's extremely fearful of people, which has me thinking that something has happened along the way.
right? Um, I mean, so you just see her randomly around town, and you don't talk with her, or
No, she
does
won't
nobody really
talk.
talk with her?
She won't talk with anyone. I would see her in a certain grocery store that I no longer go to, and I would say, "Excuse me," and she just she completely ignores. She goes in, gets what she wants, and leaves. She doesn't even speak with the cashier, because I've been in line behind her, and I've mentioned to her, "Your tattoo's beautiful," and she acts as if unless she's deaf, I don't know, but she's in and out.
And so then let's say hypothetically that she has some sort of went through something. So I mean, where would you think that cancer would show up on her, if, or is that too hypothetical?
That's too hypothetical because I don't know the results. There are some people who may get cancer in their eyes or go blind because they don't like what they see, or don't look like what they don't like what they have seen in the past or they see now. And some people may go deaf because they don't like what they hear.
And how much of a, like, is this a hypothetical again? How much of a percentage of cancer or vision loss or hearing loss is part to something that happened in their past?
I don't know, but I would believe that there's a high amount. That's a high percentage of cancer, because the people whom I've been in contact with who have had cancer has had past traumas.
And so why do you think that this isn't something that is being discussed in the medical community?
It's more discussed in the mental health community if the client opens up. A doctor and a therapist are only as good as the information they receive from their patient or their client.
And so, I mean, do you think a doctor would say that it's, that the cancer is, because I don't know, because like I'm very much into your method of healing and working from within, as opposed to here, take these drugs, get chemotherapy, don't change anything else, don't change your eating habits or anything like that. um I don't know, because I mean, I can see doctors, I don't know, not wanting to because then, I mean, then they lose a customer if they're going for some alternative form. And once that cancer is gone, when they work through it and, be able to do that, then yeah, they're out a customer. I have a lot of uh distrust for a lot of the medical field.
Chemotherapy is not covered by medical insurance. People are paying cash for their chemo and their immunotherapy afterwards. So all this is coming out of the person's pocket. So billions of dollars are going into the pockets of big pharma every single year because medical insurance, they don't want to cover it. And there are doctors out there who are telling their patients, you need a healthier diet, you need to exercise. There are doctors out there who know that, okay, they're going to be out a client, but then a patient, but then they know another one's going to take their place.
And you have the you'll have the word of mouth too of the person who said, hey, my doctor told me something that helped me out, and is looking out for me and not kind of looking out for themselves.
Right. Last couple of years, my blood results were coming back and it looked like I had blood cancer. And my mom's father died of leukemia. Well, I put it off going in because I wanted to see if I could change everything by diet. Well, when things were no longer able to be changed, I went to the oncologist. I had my blood work done. And when I went back in, she said, I have some good news for you. I wish I had more patients that I can say this to. You don't have blood cancer. And these could be the reasons of you don't have the marker for the blood cancer. You don't have the marker for leukemia, which my mom's father did. And she said, what this could be is it could be sleep apnea or it's your diet. And what it came down to was I don't have sleep apnea, but I do sleep with my mouth open at times when my sinuses are clogged and because of allergies. And also I was eating too much dark green leafy vegetables. So my blood work is now back in normal limits since I've cut back on the amount of dark green leafy vegetables that I have eaten. I have 2 servings a day instead of 3 to 6 servings a day. And it's made a difference. So it can just be changing, your food intake, and you don't necessarily have cancer.
And so is this part of what you're going to address during the conference, or is this a whole different conference?
Well, I'm not going to be covering that in the conference. We're just going to be talking about the modalities. So people have anxiety, they can do kinesiology for it, and maybe going to an angel alchemist if that's what people are comfortable with. I'm presenting different modalities that I myself don't prescribe to, but that other people may. I don't want to just present one way of doing things, but I do write blog articles. I'm also a health blogger. So I do cover health related information on my blog articles, as well as doing daily health tips on Twitter and on my Facebook page. But I do more on Twitter because I can schedule my messages where I can't do that exactly on Facebook. But next year's conference will be a completely different setup than this year's conference.
What are you going to do next year?
Next year, each session will be, I'll be doing a healing covering 3 of them will be different areas that I'm getting what I need to do. And then the last session will be a full, head body healing session. So that's what's going to be different about next year than this year.
Have you heard of scalar light healing?
Yes, and I had a very adverse reaction to it.
What happened? How'd that work with you?
It agitated my PTSD really bad.
What? So was it or like how'd you pick up on that? How did
I started getting agitated. I started being sound sensitive. I noticed my mood was just really not there. And I went, wait a minute, these are symptoms of PTSD. So I told the person, please stop. It was a 14-day trial. Please stop, or a 7-day, the therapy. And within 3 days, I was feeling better.
wow, okay.
So I don't recommend scalar light for anyone who has PTSD because it may adversely react to their situation.
Interesting.
And I also flashbacks with the PTSD.
During those
Yes,
the trial.
yes.
Wow. Were they vivid flashbacks, or was it, I mean, how'd that work? Oh, I kind of losing your connection. Uh-oh. Can you say that part again? I didn't hear you. Uh-oh, I'm losing you. Oh no.
Do you want me to sign back in?
Okay, no. I think you're okay now. So can you say that last part again?
Yeah, I started having day visions. And I also, during my sleep, it was as if I was back in the episode, the traumatic episode, which caused the PTSD.
Wow. And so what happened when you said that that you wanted to stop the trial run?
They said, okay, not a problem.
Did they say this has happened before or anything like
They
that? Or
said, well, if you just hang in there, you may see more positive results. I'm like, more positive to where because these things had brought me years ago to being suicidal. And I thought, I don't want to keep hanging in there with all this negativity going on. And I have different things that I do to keep the PTSD at bay. And I usually don't have problems with it, but maybe once every year and a half, but this really brought it up really bad. And I've noticed that recently I've had some PTSD episodes start because I know that when I get sound sensitive, I just cut back on activity. I do more meditation, and that seems to keep things calmed down.
so yeah, well, so once you get to that point, that's when you're able to reassess the situation and be able to pull back and kind
Mhm.
of get yourself out of where it is going. And
Yep.
is that uh effective, like what percentage of the time with you?
99% of the time, 95 to 99%.
That's pretty good. And so uh how would you teach someone that if you could, or is that just something that you have to know what to look for? And because it's probably different with every person.
I didn't understand why I was having these episodes where I wanted to lash out at people. And back in 2015, doctors wouldn't tell me. I had been to therapists and they never said anything. So I tried a new therapist and she told me these are the warning signs of PTSD and gave me a whole paper on it. And then told me what I could do: meditation, go for a walk, be in a quiet place, stay off social media as much, stay off of the text messaging as much, and get back to a simpler way of life, which I have basically done. Even though I have technology, I know when to stop it. And there are times where I even shut my computer off, not to watch a movie on there. I have a portable DVD player it's a standalone. I have DVDs of movies, and I just go in my bedroom, curl up on my bed, And before it was with my dog, and now they don't have her. I have a doll, and I'll sit her next to me. And this was recommended by a therapist because my doll will be keeping me company. And I watch a movie there because then I shut out the electronic world.
Yeah, and I mean it's nice, and I've talked to a lot of people who, being able to shut off the electronic world. It's nice to be able to go back and forth, but some people, are either all in or all out. And yeah, it's nice being able to leave for a while and just get away. And yeah, back there I have my TV VCR combo right there, and still I don't have as many tapes I used to have, but yeah, I like to get to that, turn all this stuff off, and yeah, just not worry about answering anything back, or I'll get to it when I get to it. And it's something that I don't know if people understand that that's something that we can still do, that we can just turn it off for a while and come back and it's okay. Nothing, the world's not going to end if you're not connected 24/7 into whatever this existence is. And yeah, I think that could be causing a lot of unnecessary whatever for a lot of people. And it's not going to come out for probably 10, 20 years, the studies on this about how much you know uh social media and a lot of other stuff is really going to be uh adversely affecting different people in many different ways. And they're
There's
starting to,
some,
but
yeah, there's some. It's showing that Generation X or Z feels the loneliness, even because they're not learning socializing skills. They've had the pandemic. And also, what they don't realize is they don't understand how to communicate with a real live person, which Zoom would help. And it's a good tool for socializing in person instead of a phone where all you're doing is holding and texting. That is so impersonal. But also, what people don't realize, you had mentioned they're being connected 24/7, get up in the middle of the night, check their phone, check their tablet or whatever's going on because they don't want to feel left out. They're overstimulating their brain. And by overstimulation, they don't realize what they're doing is their brain's not getting any rest. And the healing of your body and of your mind happens while you're sleeping, and you get quality sleep. So
right.
Ariana Huffington found out the worst way about exhaustion and what happened to her at work because she was working nonstop. Well, if somebody's that you can black out without notice, you can incur a head injury. And it depends on how much you've hit your head in the past, how much brain damage is going to eventually show on an MRI. And it's, I was having problems. I no longer have Messenger on my phone, and Facebook's not active on my phone. I have to come to a computer, and that doesn't get turned on until I turn it on, or if I choose to go to it. And I slowly weaned myself off of the amount of time I was checking my emails and checking messages, to the point where I could actually go 24 hours without even turning my computer on.
right. And I mean, how many people can say that now?
There are
Go,
quite a
I
few
mean,
people who have left Facebook, who have left social media because they didn't like the intrusion of not being able to, they wanted to live life off of electronics.
right. And I mean, yeah, with Generation Z or whatever they're called, I mean, try to get them to try to give them a phone call and see if they pick up. But they won't pick up. But then, you know, 6 seconds later, you get this text saying, "Oh, what are you doing trying to call me?" It's just, yeah, like that. Why aren't you just texting? And yeah, I mean, there's a big disconnect with that. And I don't know. Yeah, the pandemic really took a lot of things a lot of different ways, and there was so much that could have come from it that was so beneficial, but it became easier. And then with having your phone all the time, you get these little serotonin boosts, and that's what you're going for. You're the scroll of, oh yes, oh, all right, okay, and then that's all you're going. That's how you get happy. That's how people think you get happy, is from what you see that pops up that makes you feel good for 2.5 seconds, and then you see something that sucks and you're miserable for a day.
But
And
then on
just
the flip side of that, parents learned how to be parents. And couples got to reconnect with each other than passing through. And parents actually got to know their children.
right. And I think that's important, especially with how much it wasn't, going from like my generation of a bunch of latchkey kids, and to it went to a lot of here's a tablet, a phone when you're like 2 years old. Don't talk to me. You just take care of this. And now it's, yeah, being able to kind of have that reemergence of some sort of parent uh, offspring kind of, actual relationship. And so, I mean, yeah, I hope that enough of it happened, during that time, and not just, yeah, here's this, leave me alone. Um, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
the
different for
TV was
everyone.
my babysitter.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, that was what it was. And you get home, and yeah, that's here, pop in front of the TV for a while, and wait till we get home. And
There's a coloring book and play, and then my mom would come in. She'd be in the kitchen making dinner, and she'd come into the living room and she'd say, "Gloria, who are you talking to?" "My imaginary friends." I was lonely,
right,
literally lonely. My brother wasn't, I don't know where he was. I think he was we shared a bedroom because we were so young, and he would be upstairs in his bedroom. And then when it was his turn to watch a program, I would sit there and bug him because I wanted interaction. And I didn't get it from my mom, my dad, or my brother.
and so then that became, I mean, that led to even more wanting to have that, but realizing it's not happening. And I think that's happening a lot right now and it's maybe starting to get some talked about, but still, I don't know. And if it is talked about, it's being talked about, but there's not really solutions that are being made for how to better that as much as there should be.
Well, the
But I
person
mean,
has to
yeah,
take that and do it for themselves. You can present, it's like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
right.
They're presented with the information, but unless they stop, if they want to change their life, they need to change what they're doing in order for things to happen. And meeting new people can be scary. You can go to meetup.com and be in a group environment if you're not comfortable one-on-one, and just, you could, excuse me, you can just go ahead and soak things up from a meeting.
Yeah. And I would encourage more people to do that, especially, I mean, yeah, just any way you can. And um, I mean, yeah, I like with this, it's nice being able to, because I don't know, I don't have anyone here that I'm really like, I go out and hang out with friends or anything out. So it's nice having this where I can get my time where I interact with people, and it's not just, nothing, or, sitting at home and, texting or something. But yeah, it's at least something. Yeah. Meet new people every day. And, uh, yeah, I wasn't doing that before. And so, yeah, I mean, it's good to have this kind of, yeah, way of being able to interact and, yeah, just kind of exist, and yeah, not having to have no other options if you don't leave, if you don't go out. Because I mean, back then, if you didn't go out, like you can maybe call people on the phone, but
Yeah,
even then, it was, yeah, it was
it's
still
before call waiting.
right. Yeah, and then yeah, I came from a family of six with one telephone, so it was there wasn't a lot of time I had on the telephone. So it's usually like, hey, get out of the house, go find someone to go play with or something. But yeah, it was yeah, not as easy. Not everyone has one of these little things attached at their hand most of the day. And but um so back to your conference. So this is I like how it's first annual, meaning that there will be more coming up.
Yes.
It's not just the healing conference, it's the first annual healing conference. And so and then people have to have it in by September 31st or 30th, I guess.
30th
30
or
days,
October 1st. Yeah, or October 1st.
October 1st.
That's when I will, yeah, I'll cut it off on the 1st. So yes, September 30th, it would be nice if everyone would go ahead and email me then, because if you're going to register the day of the conference, I'm not going to be there doing that, because I'll be in a different mode of no longer adding people. I would
Yeah,
like,
you're in the mode of heading a conference and making sure all those pieces are in working order. And that's, I mean, just even then, just making sure everyone who's a speaker shows up, making sure that there are no connection issues, and that everyone who is online already attending the conference can see everything that's going on. Just those three things alone are plenty to worry about, as opposed to having people coming in and try and do stuff last minute. So
right, and I'm going to be, I'm promoting this hard and heavy, so that gives me at least a week just to relax and calm down, a week and a half. And if there are
absolutely.
connection issues, I do have a backup plan already in place.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And yeah, always good to have that backup plan. I talked with someone who did a music show. It was some one that was, I forgot where they were. I think they were somewhere in Europe, but then they had people from all over the world, and then trying to coordinate all that. And then, someone has some sort of connection issue, trying to have that backup plan. And so, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I assume it's going to go great. And so then if people want to get a hold of you and do that, there it is right there, Gloria Hass 5@gmail.com. And so if they want to get a hold of you, otherwise, where do they go? How do they do that?
I prefer by email, but I am on
Great.
Facebook at gloria.hass.9 or at Gloria Hass on Twitter.
Okay, easy. And yeah, so yeah, thank you for coming back on. Happy we got to talk it some more, and
Thank you.
get to get to learn some more and have people get to know a little bit more about you. So yeah, and so I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll keep in touch. All right.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. All right, that's Gloria Hass. So you guys check her out. Go to the conference. Go to the conference. Go to it. Ace Ventura, you guys. Heinz Kiss of Elements, Trainer of Dolphin. And then maybe two people are going to get that. So if you do, great. So thank you guys so much for being here and listening and maybe watching, listening if you can't stand looking at my face, whatever it is. So thank you guys for being here and on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. And check out the other shows on the network, such as When the Gloves Come Off, the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast, This Is It with Lizzie, and Saved by the Ben. The show is brought to you by Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Stoner Eats Productions, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock'emUp.org. You guys like, share, subscribe, check it out on Rumble or YouTube or anywhere you listen online for podcasts. And that is the show. Man, boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?